Hey, what's up everybody? Coach Cody Hunter here, and I'm back with another video for you. Now this week, as you may have seen, I did a video on how to find the right CrossFit box or the things to look out for when you're thinking about starting CrossFit. Now I thought that'd be a good opportunity for me to go back and tell you how it all began for me, right from the beginning, right until now. So team, sit back, grab a glass of pre-WOD and enjoy. Check it out. So, CrossFit for me. Now, you may notice I'm pretty dressed up wearing some really funky stuff today. I thought I'd be getting the spirit of things, and I've got, as much CrossFit attire on as that I could find. I've got some wrist wraps, got some elbow sleeves, I've got my bro tank on. I'm wearing all the goodness. Now, I thought that the best places to do this would be for me to tell you how it all began for me, tell you my peak of what CrossFit was for me, and where I am today. Now, I'm not gonna talk about my experience as a CrossFit affiliate owner or managing a facility or anything along those lines. This is really about my experience as a CrossFit athlete and how I found it. What did I enjoy about it? What were the challenges? And what were some real standout points about that all? Now, if we take this way back to the very, very beginning, I thought that it'd be suited to start off our story here in the garage or in the garage, because that's where CrossFit started for a lot of people. Now, sadly, that wasn't for me and for many others that were with me at this time. We were very spoiled when we got into CrossFit. Back in 2010, I used to own a small little PT/boot camp studio. Now that studio was very successful and it was super fun. Shout out to my Studio X Fitness people. It was one of the highlights of my life easily. It was so enjoyable. Now during that stage, CrossFit started happening. We started hearing about CrossFit and all the things that it was, and the workouts, and we started sort of looking at it and watching the CrossFit games on TV, on YouTube, and really checking things out, and we started to get really excited about it. Now we did the odd CrossFit workout in my little studio, but again, this studio was the second story above a little bar restaurant. There were no bumper plates. We couldn't really do any barbell programs. We could try our best, but we did start to get the experience. Now my true CrossFit experience began because of Studio X Fitness. Now during my time there, I built the membership base up pretty fast. It got really popular and we did really well, and I had a little chance meeting with Reebok at that point, and they needed some help finding the right people to build CrossFit in Seoul, in South Korea. So I jumped on board and we did what had to happen. We had to find some money, find some investors, and take the opportunity to open the first Reebok CrossFit Sentinel affiliate. This was when we really started to experience CrossFit. Now the reason why I sort of say, hey, we started in the garage, well, we didn't really. That facility that we opened back in 2012 had all the bells and whistles you could possibly imagine. When all the equipment arrived, there were 20 rowers, there were 20 weight vests, there was every piece of equipment you'd ever imagine. I think there was roughly 10 GHDs that were there. Now we couldn't even fit all the stuff in the gym. Most of it had to go into storage because we're talking about Seoul. This affiliate is pretty small. So we built it all up, and then we were just spoiled. Our workouts, we had everything we wanted for ourselves. We didn't have to share equipment, and we really got into it. One of our coaches there, Mr. Coach T Rank, was a very experienced strength and conditioning coach. So he taught us all the basics with that. So very quickly, we improved. Very quickly, we became addicted to CrossFit and everything it stood for. The workouts were insane. We loved it. It's a big club of people that really got into it. Now, some of the highlights there would be just turning up to the box on a morning, standing around the whiteboard and programming the workout for the day. Would it be an AMRAP? Would it be for time? Would it be a team wide? Would it be a chipper? What movements did we want? Now, most of the time we'd just choose a movement each. So I'd go ham power cleans, of course, one of my favorites, or double unders, and we'd go around the room, put it on the board, bounce some ideas around, brainstorm, and boom, we'd program a workout. Now, some of these workouts were atrocious, but they were so much fun. Now, Chris Waldeck, the man with Reebok right then, he had the best programming of them all, because it was just the most insane fun stuff you could ever imagine. It was all about having fun. Now, those were the glory days to me for CrossFit, especially because it was so new and we just had such a great crew of people to do CrossFit with. Now, this is what I was talking about in the other video about finding the right community for you. This was the right community for me. These guys were all very similar in goals and similar in drive. Really wanted to have fun, but wanted to get shredded and have a blast along the way. It just worked really, really well. Everyone was, sort of came from an ex-athlete past, so no one was going to give in to banter or give in to like the peer pressure to do a workout that seemed a little insane. We just got up, accepted fate, and did the workouts. And it was absolutely incredible. Now, we were lucky enough at that stage because CrossFit was so new. It had only just really infiltrated Seoul, and we were lucky enough to be there for the ride. Now very quickly, the CrossFit regional games came to Asia. They came to Seoul. So those ones in 2012, we had to go through the CrossFit Open. Those of you that have done it will understand, but it's an online competition where you follow a workout per week for 5 weeks. At the end of it, if you qualify, you get to go to the regionals. Back in those days, there was a physical, real regional in the area. Now in 2012, I qualified at, I think it was, what was the cutoff? 50 people. So I think I qualified at 46, or maybe 48 out of 50. Made the cut. I was able to go to the regionals. Now, I say, in the title, you'll understand, I say my experience as a competitive CrossFitter. I use that term very loosely. Now, I was a pretty average CrossFitter. Now, at that stage, no one was really CrossFitting. So if you had a bit of strength, you had a bit of experience in being an athlete, you could do, pretty well. I mean, that changed very, very quickly because everyone just went balls to the wall and the levels skyrocketed and I got left behind very quickly. But in my prime, in 2012, I was doing all right. Now, the CrossFit Regional, we showed up, we did the workouts. It was awesome. We had people cheering for us. It wasn't a huge turnout. We were in a very isolated area for that comp, but it was just the workouts, the camaraderie, lots of military guys there, people from all over Asia, and it was an absolute blast. I finished up that competition at roughly 16th out of that whole group, which I was extremely happy with. I couldn't muscle up very well at all. I think I got 1 in one of the workouts. It was pretty embarrassing, but everything else I could sort of survive and get through somehow. And it really did teach me a lot about my ability and what I was lacking at that point, which was obviously and always was mobility and technique. Brute strength and meathead ability, it's always been there. But having good mobility, which was really brutal on those overhead squats and snatches, etc. Then not having very good gymnastic skills and things like that also made it really tough, on the gymnastics movements, on the muscle ups, etc. But it still kept us rolling. Now, 2012 was an awesome time for CrossFit in Korea, in Asia. I think in the world, really, it was starting to go real mental. The next year there, we were able to get back into it again, and of course, the Asia regionals were going to be right there in Korea again. So we put a team in. We actually had a stacked team on the side of all our best athletes, and then we had our team, which is our sort of B grade, athlete team that was about fun, but also wanted to do okay. Now, during those regionals, I won't go through the long story of it all, but during those regionals, there was a workout that if you didn't make the cutoff or the member of your team that didn't achieve the right reps, your team got cut. Now, our top team got cut during that workout. It was one of the most devastating times for all of us. I mean, we were really expecting them to do very well, and I believe they could have won the whole competition. That being said, our team actually met the movement standards of that workout, and we got through. Now that workout cut so many teams that by the end of the weekend, we came out on 3rd place. Hence the bronze CrossFit Regional medal. 3rd place in 2013. So how awesome was that? Now, getting on stage and accepting our medals was a little bit, there were good feelings, there were bad feelings. The feelings of like, we didn't really deserve that because there were so many other teams that just destroyed us in all the workouts that we did what was needed on the time. So technically speaking, we got what we deserved, we got what we earned, but as it all was all said and done, there were some really phenomenal teams there. So I wouldn't say we got lucky, we just had real good strategy with who was going to do what and when, and we got through it. So that was the peak of my competitive CrossFit. We did do other CrossFit competitions, we did compete against other boxers, and again, it was awesome. The benefits of that, camaraderie, friendships, and we were just always in really good shape. I felt like I just always had, a 6-pack basically all the time without really worrying about nutrition too much. I was managing lots of different things at the point, whether it would be businesses and newborn babies and staff and whatnot. But still, I got my workouts in, and still I just felt like I was always in really good shape. And that was probably, if I think back to that, a lot of that really probably was my favorite time in terms of physique and fitness and health. Now, in another video a little bit later, when I get into the Globo Gym sort of bodybuilding style things, I'll discuss and talk about my experience with bodybuilding shows, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that. But with regards to the CrossFit one, when you train like that and you're so consistent and it's fun and you're eating pretty well. I mean, you're eating lots of food because you're so hungry all the time. Your body just changes, and I do really miss that about CrossFit. It was really, really, it was really awesome. I loved it. Now, fast forward a little bit. I probably stayed real deep, real in the thick of CrossFit for I would say around 7 years. It was the sport I was doing. I'd make my way to the box, I'd train whenever I could at the box, especially with Coach Badger, and over at 4TP with the bros and Jeff Lee and whatnot. And we'd do our best to get there. It was just what I did. I didn't join any CrossFit classes very often from those days. I would do them every now and then, but for me, I got to a point where I understood what I wanted out of CrossFit and what I needed. I'm not cherry picking here, all right guys? This is not a cherry picking attitude. I just wasn't really prepared to do long warm-ups and long skill sessions with a lot of the weightlifting work or the skill work. I wasn't really prepared to invest that much time. I had about 30 to 40 minutes worth of time at the gym, so I wanted to make sure I could do what I wanted to do, get it done, have some fun along the way, and then get out of there. So yes, we'd still train with the bros or the crew, but it wasn't so much within the CrossFit class. After that, while I was still in Korea, I got a bit of a bug to go back to the bodybuilding style training. I sort of missed it. I missed the isolation of it all. I missed the mirrors. I missed the posing. I missed all that stuff. And I know a lot of people who do CrossFit will laugh at that. But again, a lot of CrossFitters love the mirrors and love posing. Have you seen any CrossFitters do workouts with t-shirts on? So I got into that, then I returned to New Zealand here, and I've been doing the same thing now for a little while. I'm doing CrossFit workouts probably 2 to 3 days a week at my regular Globo gym. Globo gym, for you, those of you that don't know, is just a regular big sort of style box gym, similar to your City Fitness or your Planet Fitnesses maybe. Those kind of gyms that are big. Now I like them right now because it's cheap. I can go multiple times a day. I can take a guest, and I've got free reign really to the functional fitness area that has sleds and everything. It's got everything I need for $7 a week. Can you go wrong with that? At this point, I'm not really doing CrossFit in a box, but I am starting to get a bit of an itch for it again. I know that, Badger versus Lion, the next episode, we're going to have a podcast coming out very, very soon. But what we will do is probably start getting some workouts going. So I think on Monday, next week, I really want us to do a CrossFit WOD with him. And I'm thinking Grace is the one. Now I'm probably cherry picking because I know that I'm not very fit or strong. Well, I'm pretty strong still, but I'm not very fit and I haven't done one for a while. But Grace used to be my real wheelhouse. So again, I'm gonna cherry pick that one and try to make him do that. I'm sure he will smash me because he's been CrossFitting the entire time and he's just an absolute beast. I mean, he reminds me a lot of Matt Fraser actually. So my thoughts on CrossFit as it stands, and I probably said it many, many times, is I think it's great for the right people. I mean, I think that on-ramp is a must for anyone who wants to get fit. I think if you're after community and really pushing yourself, get into it. My key pointers and takeaways is always find the right coaches, the right box, so you don't get hurt or left behind or just totally neglected, because it can happen. There you go, a little bit of a story from me. Now, if you have done CrossFit before, or tell us your experience in the comment section. Have you tried it? Did you stay with it? If not, why? Why didn't you stay with it? In fact, I'd like to hear from you even more, because those of you that left it, I'd really love to know. What were the reasons for you leaving? All right, team. There you go. There's your video for today. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and have an awesome day, and we'll see you all again in the next video. My name is Coach Cody Hunter, and I'm out. Peace.